QUICKTIME report, and don't forget to keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Crystal Jones bringing you the news and reviews for QT News. Howard and Downer over their heads threaten Australia. Australia needs to withdraw from the world now. Prime Minister Howard and Foreign Affairs Minister Downer are in over their heads. Australia's statements on North Korea, military action against that nation, threatening support by the Australian Navy to interdict North Korean shipping. Canberra's misguided action in the Middle East, orchestrated seizure of Pacific Island states, and domestic government-tracked terrorism, is being seen as isolated by the rest of the world, except the George W. Bush and Tony Blair nuclear tension tooling to some who appreciate Canberra's marionette behavior. Prime Minister Howard comes across as a small and shallower man, made fat-headed by a Pandora box hypocrisy which is fundamentally a non-humanitarian tenet to push the world to the brink, whilst hiding genocide from view. As catastrophe subverts the human race in Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine and Africa. Literally, the Australian government jumps at preemptive internationalism to push the poorest countries around. It is insidious irresponsibility against citizens, domestic and abroad. Now North Korea with nuclear capability, likely possessed for years in actuality, now powerfully reshapes the hypocrisy of the so-called war against weapons of mass destruction as Iran, which doesn't have nuclear weapons, is lined up for attack and North Korea has WMD actually tested them.
I got numerous individuals on the road. Do you want me to take those out? Take them out. Ten seconds. Roger. 'Impact. Oh, dude.
I'm Mike Snitch, bringing you the news and reviews for QT News, U.S., the trial of Donald Rumsfeld. The trial of Donald Rumsfeld took place at Seattle University Saturday, October 7th. The Master of Ceremonies, Reverend John Luopa, told the audience, "Tonight's trial is not only an educational presentation, but really is an effort to build a grassroots movement to hold our leaders accountable, since we can no longer rely on our congressional representatives, the courts, or the executive branch. The goal of our event is to empower ourselves to ensure that the United States upholds human rights throughout the world." One of the speakers was Jennifer Harbury, an attorney, author, human rights activist, and an expert on torture in Latin America. Harbury told the audience, "Last week our government legalized torture. Turning to recent history," she said, "most people did not survive the torture chambers of Latin America. But I found 20 that did." One of them told her that he was subjected to waterboarding, a popular CIA technique. Harbury said, "They held his head underwater. He held his breath as long, and then he couldn't anymore, and the water rushed up into his brain and burned excruciatingly." He was still dropping water, and it started to feel like his eardrums were going to rupture. Then he started vomiting into the water, and went into convulsions. When he woke up, they were giving him CPR. Then they drowned him again. Later she stressed that we need to do massive education of the public. And then we need to make it clear to politicians that they are out of office if they are soft on eliminating torture. After Jennifer Harbury's talk, actors Ramzi El-Moslemani, Fred Capestany, and Rizwan Nassar gave testimony representing 3 people, Saddam Saleh, Abdurrahim Mamdouh Habib respectively, who had been tortured by the United States. Law professor Ronald Sly defined torture and talked about the international laws against torture to which the United States is a signatory. Then, the trial of Donald Rumsfeld continued. The prosecutor, played by Michael Whitty, interrogated Rumsfeld about many of the human rights abuses that had been carried out under his orders. Phil Chandler was effective, portraying Rumsfeld as a man with no concern for his victims. The last speaker of the evening was Pramila Jayapal, who is founder and director of Hate Free Zone Washington. Jayapal spoke about individual activists who have made a difference and challenged the people present to join those activists in working for human rights. She told the audience to remember that each of these individuals is an individual just like you or me, a person with a normal, regular life, who's transformed beyond outrage, beyond sadness, beyond anger, to commit themselves to action because they cannot bear to see the abuses continue, because they don't want to have one more person suffer, and because they simply cannot sit back and watch anymore as the abuses continue in all of our names.